Hello! Welcome to day 3 of 100 Days of Magic. See, I know it's 100 Days of Magic because I even made a sign. I am so glad you are tuning in for day 3 of our epic journey on all things magical. I'm Donna. I own this space, and I'm holding it open for all of you who want to learn all the ways that you can begin to tap in to that deeper inner wisdom inside of you and shine it out into the world so you can live with passion and purpose and consciousness, 24/7 awareness of what you are doing so you can make better choices in your life. So, hello, Teresa. Hello, Christine. Hello to everyone else who's tuning in live. If you're here live, feel free to add comments to the chat. I'll try to respond to them as we go along. If you are here listening to the replay, that is totally cool too. I know we have to do some time shifting in our world. You can always add your comments to the stream afterwards. Feel free to share your experiences with each other as you are working along. Hold on a second. Okay. Our lesson today is called the 3 stages of mastery. So what's that all about? Well, there's a great quote that people are fond of using when talking about the magical tradition. It goes something like this. First you study magic, then you practice magic, then you realize you have become the magic. And I think that this is a process that we go through, not just for our magical studies or our spiritual practice, but for pretty much anything that we try to do in our daily lives. But let's talk about, on a deeper level, what this means in our daily lives. So first you study magic. Now, the traditional classifications for the depth of one's magical acumen, so to speak, in the Western Hermetic tradition are neophytes, acolytes, and masters. Now, this is an oversimplification, as everything is when I give you like little 10-minute segments. Neophytes are the people who are studying magic. Neophytes are at the beginning. They have crossed into, wow, this is kind of an interesting thing. I'm going to go in and open the doors. They're moving out of being muggles, so to speak, and into exploring the rich world of all of the metaphysical and mystical occurrences of our lives. Neophytes love to gather up all the information that they can find. They read and read and read, expose themselves to lots of things, and often find new things to believe in. Maybe they're moving away from their old beliefs into something new, but they still tend to take what they are given on faith. So it doesn't matter what you're practicing, whether you're an alchemist or an astrologer or a tarot reader, or you are doing any other kinds of divination, or you are casting your own spells because you've read them in books. If you are doing things on faith, that classifies the neophyte level of study, which is where we all start out. Let's be frank. Everyone has to start somewhere. This is the beginning step, right? The second phase of that discussion, the first you study, then you practice, means you are moving into the acolyte phase. Now, the acolyte phase of study is when you begin to take whatever you have studied and learned and begin to experiment with it for yourself. These are people who are keeping notes on their journey. This is when you are keeping a daily journal and reflecting on everything that you learn. You are doing the spells that you read in books, but you're taking notes on them to try to figure out how they work on a deeper level, or if they work at all. This is if you are doing astrology, rather than just reading about what someone else says a day is supposed to feel like, actually asking yourself, is this what this feels like to me? You can think of it as like a stage where you're becoming a teenager in your practice, where you question everything in order to get a deeper understanding of how things work. So it's a much more fractious, tension producing side of our journey, but it's a tension that's necessary because it leads eventually into the third phase, which when you become the magic, which is what Hermetic practitioners would call the masters of the craft. When you become the magic, you realize that your reality bubble can be sloughed off. It can always be made bigger. It can always be shifted and changed into something else. Masters are learning how to shape their realities. So instead of feeling like thoughts and emotions or experiences are happening to you, you begin to realize you are a conscious co-creator of your thoughts, of your emotions, and of the other experiences that we work with on a daily basis. So as we learn to deepen in our practice, we all naturally go through these stages at different points in our lives. Mastery is a word with a capital M. I think perhaps many people are moving toward and few people actually ever attain. Or if you do attain it, it's just little glimpses and flashes before we find out we're back in the acolyte stage again. Okay? Now, it's important to understand these stages so that you can think about your own life and how you are consuming your magical practice, how you're relating to your practice, and really to get really honest with yourself about whether or not you are learning and learning and learning and not actually experiencing. Because when we are learning and learning and learning and collecting up all of these things, but not actually trying to put it into practice, we end up feeding our egos and not feeding our deeper soul. And so you can live an entire life, fill up your house with books, and never move past the neophyte stage. Now, one of the main reasons I created my School of Magic and Mastery is that I have set up all of our programs to encourage people to do the work to move from the neophyte to the acolyte stage by adding homework and experiential exercises and meditations and journaling prompts and anything I can think of to help people actually sit down and do something that embodies the work in a way that helps you decide what works for you. Because I know really well, reading about it is not enough. I love books. I love lots of books, but reading about it is not enough. Magic is experiential and it's experimental. And without those elements, you don't actually deepen in the craft. So one of my magical teachers, I've had several amazing teachers over the course of my life, used to say that in order to move into the magical process, you needed to give up impatience, intolerance, and self-pity, vanity, intolerance, and self-pity, and you had to embrace patience, tolerance, and understanding. The thing about vanity, intolerance, and self-pity is that all three of these activities will prevent you from being able to one day learn how to shape your own reality bubble. Those are the things that keep you locked into the system that it is. When we feel like we are the best and we know everything, or those people are always wrong and I don't want to be like them, or oh, woe is me, I am the most horrible creature that exists. All of those things prevent you from seeing the world as it is and lock you into that false sense of reality that you're generating within yourself and prevent you from sloughing your skin and getting a bigger reality bubble and sloughing that off and getting a bigger one after that. Patience, tolerance, and understanding, on the other hand, are the values to adopt for you to become radically centered. When you become radically centered, you begin to open the cracks for that light of your higher self to shine into your life. All right? So we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of words you might not have thought about before. But this is a perfect time as we are just beginning our journey on our 100 Days of Magic to ask yourself the question, where do you fall in this spectrum? I mean, obviously, if you're here, you're already into the neophyte stage, or you wouldn't be listening to me talk about 100 Days of Magic at all. So, are you starting out your journey as a neophyte because you're just getting here and you're just starting out? And that's cool. We all start there. But are you a person who's been living as a neophyte for years and years and years, collecting up more magical stuff, more and more books, more and more things because you're afraid to take the next step? The next step meaning making the work your own by trying out the spells and the rituals and the meditations and the experiments and the journal reflections for yourself. Because if you're like standing on the edge of the pool, just dipping your toes in, that's okay. You are perfectly allowed to be there your entire life. There is no fault in that. But you may find that you're not getting to the deeper experiences of feeling connected all the time, of feeling energized by spirit, of opening yourself to having your higher self communicating with you on a regular basis. Those things require you to move into experiencing the magic for yourself. Move into practicing so that you have the potential of one day having those moments of mastery in your own life. So be honest with yourself. That's another part of the process. Self-honestly. Know thyself. Another buzzword of our magical practice. Know thyself. Be honest where you're at and why you are there. And if you're afraid to try things out for yourself, ask yourself why. What are you afraid of? If you do nothing else today, these are very powerful questions that can help you in all kinds of areas of your life. All right? So I'm glad you came to hang out with me today for today's lesson. If you've got any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. You're always welcome to share these videos with anyone, anywhere. I don't know if you know this, but this Crossroads of Magic and Mastery is a fully public group. That means any post that's in here can be shared anywhere. That enables things from all kinds of creators to be shared out into the world. You post them here and you get to have other people share them off on their own pages and stuff. So feel free to do those things. Know that I am here encouraging you on your magical journey. Okay? I will be back tomorrow to give you another little nugget about how all the pieces of our magical practice fit together so that you have a map of the range of things that we're going to be studying over the next 100 days of magic. I'm so glad you decided to spend this time with me. I'll give you a second. If you've got any questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to see what people have posted. Oh, hello. We have Claudia, we have Shirley, we have Jackie. It's good to see you, all of you. If you've got any questions, again, put them in the chat. I will get back to them later, today, tomorrow, over the next days. And in the meantime, I hope all of your days are filled with magic. You take care, everyone.